I have a confession to make. Cause I'm sick and tired of lying to you guys. So I'm gonna come right out to say it. This is the real me. No, it is not a joke. Because today, we're gonna be reviewing this realme book, which is the first laptop from realme. At this point, mobile phone brands making laptops should no longer come as a surprise. But what everybody is more curious about is how does this laptop from realme stack up against products from more conventional laptop manufacturers? You have no idea during this MCO how many uncle, auntie, cousin, amau, akau, neighbour has asked me, "Hey Shane, I got money for laptop, I'm very rich, but my budget only 2 to 3,000 ringgit. What can I buy, huh?" Let Abang Shane payung because you no money to buy umbrella. Under my copyright. Okay, jokes aside, your options are actually plenty, but at that price point, you're not gonna get the best of everything, so there are gonna be some compromise. So firstly, we need to identify what are the key features that are important for the average consumer in a work or study laptop. Here's what I think. Number one, it needs to have decent specs for productivity tasks such as Googling, something that you guys should learn more about. But not super heavy workloads because that's not what a laptop like this is designed for. Number two, you need a nice screen and display. So when you look at it all day while working, your eyes won't hurt. And it needs to be decently bright so you can bring it everywhere and still use it. And also have good viewing angles so that, when you don't look at it at optimal angles, your eyes can actually see what's happening. Number three, you need good battery life so you won't be running around the house looking for that plug. Number four, it needs good I/O ports options so you can connect all your peripherals without using a dongle. If you add a dongle, it's no longer very portable. Get it? Number five, you need good networking connectivity so that when you are watching programs on YouTube, as research, your line won't keep dropping. Number six, something that some laptop brands have forgot to put into their laptop, which is the webcam. You need it for con calls, ma. Like that your boss can see you, your teacher can see you, then you can have good attendance. Number seven, it needs to be lightweight. You're trying to buy a laptop to put on your laptop, not a desktop to put on your laptop. Number eight, it needs to look good while doing all these things. Because now you're stuck at home with your four walls. At least when you stare at your laptop, you won't feel so depressed if it looks good. There are two versions of this laptop. An i3 version and a higher-end i5 version, which is what we have here. The i5 version is priced at 3,499 ringgit, and it comes with an 11th Gen Intel Core i5-1135G7 with 4 cores and 8 threads, a base clock of 2.4 GHz and 4.2 GHz boosted. It also comes with Intel Iris Xe graphics, 8GB of dual-channel DDR4 memory rated at 4266 MHz. Fun fact, faster memory actually helps the integrated graphics perform a little bit better. Then we have the 512GB of Gen 3 PCIe NVMe storage from Samsung with 3100 MB per second read and 1800 MB per second write transfer speeds. Then you have Wi-Fi 6, which is the fastest Wi-Fi standard right now, and then you have Bluetooth 5.2. The lower end i3 version comes in at just 2,999 ringgit. In my opinion, the i5 version is actually a no-brainer because with just 500 bucks more, you get a much better processor, upgraded integrated graphics, double the storage capacity that is also faster, and you get faster Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. But with the i3 version currently on sale at 2,499 ringgit, it seems like a much better deal. Next, let's take a look at the aesthetics. The exterior of this laptop is made of aluminum and comes in two colors in an anodized finish, kinda like the fruit brand. The two colors are Real Grey and Real Blue from realme. Wow, how clever. Anyways, this is the Real Blue version. It comes in a muted tone that looks pretty sleek, but that's just my personal opinion. Like it or hate it, at least it's an option. Overall, the build quality is pretty decent. The hinge is pretty firm and smooth, and the keyboard deck has very minimal flex. But if I want to nitpick, I would say that the screen enclosure is pretty flimsy. When you just hold it up like that, you can feel that it's kind of flexing a little, but still not bad. In terms of dimensions, the laptop is 307.21mm long, 228.96mm wide, and 15.5mm thick. It's pretty slim and compact. It only weighs 1.38 kilograms. Paired that with the phone charger type charger, it is very portable for school and work alike. In terms of screen or display, this is not your conventional 14-inch IPS panel. It has a 3:2 aspect ratio, which is a little bit taller compared to the conventional 16:9 aspect ratio that you're probably used to. With 2160 by 1440p pixels, it is like a 1440p monitor with 400 pixels less horizontally. At this screen size, the pixel density should be more than enough, so images will look crisp and sharp. Screen brightness is 400 nits peak and 330 nits typical, which is plenty bright for most use cases. Color accuracy as advertised covers 100% of the sRGB range. Based on our test, it's a little bit off but still within the margin of error. Overall, the screen is pretty great for content consumption and even some photo and simple video editing, though there's no HDR support. Oh yeah, for the 15-inch version, you get Corning Gorilla Glass and an oleophobic coating that makes it a little bit tougher and also easier to clean. In terms of keyboard, you get white backlighting with 3 levels of brightness. It is not the brightest backlighting, but still plenty useful when working in the dark. When you type on it, the keyboard feels pretty basic. Not the best, but also not the worst that I've tested. If you're someone who loves to type or types a lot, I would suggest that you use an external keyboard instead. The trackpad or touchpad is pretty large. It tracks pretty well, it's pretty smooth, but when you click on the buttons, it's a tiny bit flimsy, but still not a deal breaker. Here's a sound test of the keyboard as well as the touchpad. It has a 720p HD webcam, a must-have for a work or study laptop like this. This is how the webcam looks and sound. I wanna trust me in the way that you trust me. Ooh, 'cause nobody ever loved me like you do. I'd love to see me from your point of view. This laptop comes with a fingerprint reader on the power button. In terms of audio, this realme Book comes with 2 downward-firing speakers on both sides that support stereo sound by DTS. To be honest, it doesn't sound the best, seriously lacking bass as well as the top end, but the mids are sufficiently clear for most types of video content. It just doesn't get very loud. Here's a sound test for your consideration. In terms of I/O ports, there's actually a difference between the i5 version here and the i3 version. The i5 version actually comes with a new Thunderbolt 4 or USB 4 port with a USB Type-C connector. It has a maximum transfer speed of up to 40 gigabits per second or about 5 gigabytes per second. Not only is this really handy for transferring data at very fast speeds for video editing or even expanding your laptop's I/O ports with a Thunderbolt 4 dock, it is also extremely handy for people who want to hook up external monitors. It supports up to 2 4K displays and even one 8K display. Other than that, you get one USB Type-C 3.2 Gen 2 port, one USB Type-A 3.1 Gen 1 port, and one 3.5mm headphone and microphone combo jack. The i3 version does not come with Thunderbolt 4, another reason for spending a little extra for that i5. In terms of battery life, Realme states that we should be able to get up to 11 hours of 1080p local video playback at the 150 nits screen brightness and 50% volume. But the thing is, who watches content locally anymore? Except for you dinosaurs. Anyways, we still got about more than 8 hours of Netflix video playback in 1080p with the same screen brightness and volume, so pretty good. It actually charges up really quick too. It really gets to about 50% in just 30 minutes as advertised. Of course, if you're also using the laptop while charging, it's gonna slow down the charge time considerably depending on what you're doing. Abu Dan? Now, components in a laptop like this do not churn out a ton of heat, but if you're doing some slightly heavier CPU workloads like video editing or rendering, they tend to heat up a little. The Realme Book comes with two 8mm heat pipes and two high-speed high airflow fans. I'm always a little bit suspicious about high-speed fans in a tiny laptop because they can be quite loud, so let's just see how it really performs during our benchmark. Before we move on to the benchmarks, I'd just like to tell you that when you buy this laptop, all you get is the 65-watt adapter that looks like a phone charger and also a 2 years warranty. Moving on to benchmarks, we are looking at decent scores in synthetics for a thin and light laptop like this. The 11th Gen i5 is performing pretty well. Also, the 4266MHz RAM is really helping the Intel Xe graphics flex a little bit more. In terms of gaming benchmarks, from our Shadow of the Tomb Raider numbers, you can see that the laptop can't really handle AAA titles except for the lowest settings in 720p, but you should be able to play esports titles like Valorant in 720p just fine, even on the highest settings. Finally, for the real-world benchmarks, the laptop handles heavier workloads like Premiere Pro relatively okay for a laptop with these specs. Photoshop should also be fine unless you're dealing with huge files. Also, this laptop should be fine with simple 3D projects in Blender, but don't expect crazy performance. When it comes to the temperature, it does heat up quite a bit after long periods of heavy use, but the keyboard did not feel uncomfortably hot, nor did the laptop get excessively noisy. To summarize, here are the pros, mares, and cons of this Realme Book. I give this Realme Book a very #cheap buy until your mother cannot recognize. For your son and daughter for work and study, 8.5 out of 10. With decent specs, a good screen, quiet operation, and good battery life in a portable package, if you're somebody who's looking for a replacement for your school or work laptop, this is a good option to consider. You can even do simple 1080p video editing on it. So we slapped on a couple of layers of lumetri colors, speed RAM, and some effects in Premiere Pro, and it scrubs pretty fine, no drop frames. Just make sure that you drop your preview from full to a quarter. But at this price point, $2,999 for the i3 version and $3,499 for the i5 version, you guys really need to manage your expectations. This is not a laptop that will allow you to edit 4K videos or even game in AAA titles at 1440p at the highest settings. Instead, what you see is what you get. An affordable laptop for work and study without all the unnecessary bell and whistles. In all honesty, if you can afford it, I would recommend the i5 version over the i3 version, because for the extra 500 ringgit, you are getting a lot of value for your money, but that's just me. Now, if you want something a little bit more powerful and you don't need the portability that you get in a laptop like this, then you should probably be looking towards an entry-level gaming laptop. Though at the entry level for gaming laptops, you'll be at least spending a little bit more than this also, up to maybe 4K. And at that price point, if you want the best specs, you will be compromising things such as an inferior screen and stuff like that, because all the cost will go towards the specs. And the gaming laptop at the entry level tend to have not so great battery life, so you'll be hunting for a power socket all the time while lugging around a laptop that is much heavier than this. And that's all, folks. If you thought this video is awesome, you know what to do. Go and like and share lah. And also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more awesome content like this. Also, leave a comment down below if you have any questions regarding this Realme Book, and I'll try to reply to you based on my user experience with it for the past couple of months, okay? And now, let's move on to the comment section. For the comment section today, we have the Prism Plus Q55QE TV. Oh, I see, I remember. And we'll start with YouTube first. You know why? Because you YouTube. Firstly, Yui Senpai says that yeah, he see a lot of Prism Plus ads everywhere and he don't really trust them. Nice review, quality leng chai. Leng chai meh? Leng chai meh? Amtha Wafi says this channel underrated and got 2 people like it. I guess 2 people agree. So don't forget to like and share this video so that more people will see this and more people will agree. Fives Nordin said thanks for review. I want to try their monitor but their advertisement very sketchy. See? Prism Plus, I already told you already, don't trust me? Skywong said, is this a hard sell video? Anyways, great video as always. Of course, it's not a hard sell video. I did point out some flaws that I think that this Prism Plus have. But at this price point, seriously, very my hambe pai lah. KRV says that this is the best review for this TV that is hardly available on YouTube. Correct. That is precisely what I've been saying. In the wonderful world of Facebook, you got a wonderful person called Jonah Kabawao. He said, any audio input? Hello, bro, didn't I just show you the in-out port? Scroll up and watch that. Jonathan Sito says, this page is alive. Wow, you like that say me? You like that sumpa me? Finally, we have our supporter, Jess Gill, who says, thanks for the review. Now just wondering if their TV quality is indicative of their monitor quality. For that, you shall have to stay tuned on your TV or your monitor. And that's all for the comment section today. I will see you in the next video. So leave more comments so that I can comment on your comment. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!